focus now more on the effort to find out exactly where our state's governor is.
That's right. His office says that he has been contacted. He is fine, but they're still not exactly saying where he is right now.
A lot of people concerned about that because they feel like with taxpayers' money, they should know where our governor is. J.R. Berry standing by in the information center now with more on that. J.R.
Darcy and Jennifer, thank you. The governor appeared here in our information center last Wednesday night for about a 10-minute long interview. The next day, he disappeared, and no one, including First Lady Ginny Sanford, knows of his whereabouts. At least they're not telling us. Earlier today, the governor's wife told the Associated Press that she did not know where her husband was. She has not known where he's been since Thursday, but she said she is not concerned. She also said the governor told her he needed some time away from their 4 boys to write something. That is odd timing, considering that yesterday was Father's Day. A short time ago, the governor's office did release a statement. Spokesman Joel Sawyer said the governor is taking some time away from the office to recharge after the stimulus battle and to work on projects. They went on to say they're not going to discuss the specifics. We're also being told that the governor's cell phone is off and he is unreachable. That has left some questions now about who's in charge of our state government, like Lexington County Republican Jake Knotts. He says he wants to know who is running the state government. And then there was this from the Senate Democratic leader today. He says we've been concerned by what he calls the governor's erratic behavior for some time. We're praying for him and his family. This is a real head scratcher, ladies, because the governor's office maintaining that the governor is fine, they know where he is, but they're not saying where he is, which is creating headlines not only here in South Carolina, but nationwide. I was just watching some of the cable networks, and they're just going with this story saying, look, if indeed Mark Sanford is a possible 2012 presidential candidate, this is not going to help him. It would behoove him, according to these network people, for the governor to say, hey, here I am, this is the city where I'm located in, but the governor's office simply isn't doing that tonight. One other strange thing that strikes me about this is if they know where the governor is and if they've known all along where the governor is, why were they tracking his cell phone signal? They say that they picked it up not far from Atlanta, and that was the last known whereabouts of the governor. So again, a lot of things just not adding up here. This could simply be the governor needed some time away. It could be something a little more than that. We just don't know. But again, the bottom line is the First Lady tonight says, I don't know where my husband is, so we don't know where Governor Sanford is.
A lot of people have also been asking the question, JR, and you and I talked about this before the newscast, if the governor is not in charge, who is?
Yeah, well, see, Jake Knotts brought that up earlier today as well, the Lexington County Republican. As many of you know, he and the governor at odds all the time over a number of issues, so no love lost between those two politicians. And Jake Knotts says, hey, if the governor is not performing his duties, then it should go to the lieutenant governor. Now, our Constitution, very old Constitution as those things are, and I don't believe there's a provision in there that says the governor has to tell anyone that he's leaving town for a few days and to transfer power. I don't believe that's in that Constitution, so that could be something that once this all settles down that they have to take a look at and maybe make some changes to. Who knows?
Interesting. All right. Thank you so much for following this, JR, and keeping up on this. Of course, we'll check in with you a little bit later and have all those updates for you on Governor Sanford. But we want to know what you think about this. The staff's not saying exactly where he is. You know, is it right for them to do that?
Well, you know, and I said this earlier, he's obviously our governor. He's not a prisoner, so he is free to leave the state. And if he wants to take some time away from the office and, you know, do whatever it is that he wants to do when he's not in official business, it seems to me, in my mind, and this is the research we're doing behind the scenes in our information center now, what is the policy and protocol? You know, like if you and I were going to be off,
Gotta call Mary Beth.
We gotta call Mary Beth. We gotta say, Mary Beth, we're not gonna be in today.
Right.
How does that work, and why is there, in some people's opinion, because we've been getting emails and phone calls and people talking about it online, why is there so much secrecy about who now is in charge? Because when we contacted the Lieutenant Governor, Andre Bauer, who you would think would be the next in command, he said his office did not know what was going on. So I think that is what's led so many people to raising eyebrows, scratching their head, and, you know, some people even pounding their fists saying, he drove off in that sled SUV, that's my taxpayer money. I want to know where the governor is. So